Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Darrell Brooks saga. I'm Jester, and today we are going to continue with the where we left off was the redirect or cross examination, no redirect of Susan Upper. So we left in a little bit of a cliffhanger yesterday. So we're gonna continue on, but before that, thank you so much. I can't tell you guys enough. Thank you so much for all the support that you guys have been having. It's been great. We're so close to 300 subscribers, so if you guys could just subscribe if you like the content. I do this content every day, so we're gonna continue on like that as much as I can. So consider subscribing if you're into it. All right, let's go into the video.
There's no question.
On cross-examination, you told Mr. Brooks that you saw the driver of the vehicle quite clearly. Do you remember that?
Objection, I do not consent to being called that name, and I would respectfully ask to be identified with an unknown individual.
Your objection is noted.
All right, we finally got what we wanted. He wants to be called and he wants to be identified as an unknown individual. That's what he wants to be called. He doesn't want to be Darrell Brooks. He doesn't want to be unknown individual. There's the answer.
It's overruled.
And no one's gonna do that.
Yeah.
Do you see the driver of the red SUV in the courtroom here today, Officer Schneider?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. She may answer.
I'd ask Mr. Brooks be directed to remove his mask so that Officer Schneider can identify him, please.
Objection, I never heard an answer to the question.
It has not been answered. Mr. Brooks, please remove your mask. Thank you.
Officer Schneider, is the driver of the red SUV that you've just described for this jury present in this courtroom today?
Objection,
Yes.
hearsay.
Here's
Can you please point him out by where he's seated and what he's wearing?
He is seated over here at the table wearing a gray suit.
That's the man you saw driving the red SUV as it sped past you?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
On the
Why are you
issue of
laughing?
identification only, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do.
Here we go.
You did state that you saw the driver of the vehicle and the driver had hair, and you stated brown eyes and brown hair, correct?
That is what I said.
You also stated that you can see somewhat what they was wearing by a hat or
You said
That's
that?
incorrect. I did not say that.
It was the other officer that said that.
so you were able to see the driver of the vehicle's entire head.
I was able to see hair, which is what I have said previously.
Would it be fair to say that the alleged defendant that you just identified on the record for the court does not have hair?
You do have some.
You have shaved your head. Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you have not seen the alleged defendant shave his head?
Objection. Relevance.
It's
Browns.
ridiculous.
Overruled.
It's a
She may
ridiculous
answer.
question.
I presume you mean the act of.
The act of.
I have not witnessed him actively shaving his head.
So would it be fair to say that, to the best of your knowledge, you do not know, in fact, if the alleged defendant shaved his head?
That's. Oh my god. What?
I am looking at the individual who was driving the SUV, and he now has a shaved head.
That doesn't answer the question.
It does. Next question.
That face.
I would like to advise the court and the defendant that he's requested a subpoena for a person identified as Sammy Fleischman. We have learned that Ms. Fleischman has relocated to the state of Texas.
He's gone.
Therefore, we will not be able
Oh,
to
she's gone.
secure her appearance here at the trial on behalf of Mr. Brooks. If he wishes to make arrangements for transportation for Ms. Fleischman, he may do so himself.
I wouldn't even begin to try to know how I can do something like that from a jail cell.
Look
I'm
it up.
Pretty much broke.
You were broke before.
Well, you're advised though, if she's out of state, there's other procedures would have to be followed. And, the state is not obligated to make those arrangements since it's an out-of-state witness at this point, okay? Did you hear me say that?
I follow.
All right, thank you. Anyone else in the subpoena list?
I mean, there's others that we have objections to, but I don't know if you want to address that right now, Your Honor.
Well, I'd like to have you put them on the record so that Mr. Brooks knows, and if he wants to respond now, that's fine. Otherwise, we can take it up a little bit later.
The other two would be Erica Patterson and Detective Steve Guth, seeing as they have already testified and were subject to cross-examination. We would request an offer of proof as to what relevant testimony, if any, they may offer. And then there was one of the parents of the victims, Kathleen Urell. She was not present at the parade. And it's really unknown what type of testimony he would want to elicit from her. So we would be requesting an offer of proof to establish the relevancy of those witnesses, Your Honor.
Please.
Do you want to address that now or have an opportunity to think about that and address it perhaps at the end of the day?
Miss Patterson and Detective Guth, I mean, as far as with them, I think it would be relevant because we have paperwork that was filed by the district attorney about there being no factual basis nor no domestic violence incident on November 20th, which they testified to.
Doesn't
I think
matter.
That's perjury. So that should be.
Well, you're giving me an argument, I guess, on the relevance of their testimony, sir, but as I recall the testimony, you are the one asking the questions about the 20th. The state dismissed that charge. I granted that request to dismiss it. There's nothing that you are bringing to my attention that I can tell would be perjury, but I don't know if what you're trying to tell me is you'd like to question them about their credibility because that charge, explain to me a little bit further.
Yeah, we don't
It
understand.
would be a lot to do with credibility and also a few questions that I believe would still be relevant to even the events of the 21st. There's still
And what
some
you didn't
relevant
answer
things
before,
that
ask
should-
it before.
that I feel should be answered, that I feel the jury deserves to know.
Well, I'm going to give him some leeway. He's a pro se defendant. What about
her.
this Kathleen Urell? I know she's on their potential witness list that was filed.
And that
To correct, I apologize for interrupting, but I did misspeak. She was at the parade, but she did not see, she cannot testify to anyone being struck or injured by the SUV other than her own children that she learned after the fact. And she cannot identify the driver.
All right, Mr. Brooks?
it's still relevancy there. She was at the parade, and as we just heard right now for the record, that she would be directly affected by it,
So,
by her family being victims in the matter. Also, she gave statements and she filed a report. I feel like her testimony would be relevant to the matter.
All right, I'll keep her on the list as well.
it's gonna hurt my case,
All
but
right,
it's gonna be
anything else from
relevant.
the state?
No, thank you.
Mr. Brooks, anything else from you?
Yes.
Don't laugh.
At this
Subject
point,
matter
probably-
jurisdiction.
I'm probably beating the dead horse, but I just have to state for the record anyway. I would like to direct your honor to, I believe it's Milo versus United States, 505 F2D 1026. Are you familiar with that, your honor?
Not off the top of my head, but I can pull it up.
And also Hagens versus Levine, 415 US 533. Those cases are being brought up because of the continuing asking of me about the jurisdiction that I've been challenging.
See, he has time to research those cases, but he doesn't have time to research what hearsay means.
Anything specific you want to draw my attention to?
Well, there's cases that challenge the jurisdiction, which I've been doing, challenging the jurisdiction.
You said something
Milo
specific.
versus United States states once jurisdiction is challenged, the court cannot proceed when it is clearly appears that the court lacks jurisdiction. The court has no authority to reach merits, but rather should dismiss the action.
What about the other
I
case?
believe it's that states the law requires proof of jurisdiction to appear on the record of the administrative agency in all administrative proceedings. We have yet to
I think that's a
to
civil
prove
case.
the jurisdiction. It has yet to be proven. I've filed a motion. I've stated on the record numerous times. I have yet to get an answer.
You will get your answer.
And you're
Don't worry.
specifically referring to the documents you filed on October 3rd.
I've been challenging jurisdiction since the beginning of trial.
She asked about
Probably
the
as
document. You
far
said you
back
filed a
as
motion. Oh my
when I
God.
became a
Answer the
pro per
question.
defending myself.
Hey
Take
everyone,
a look
look.
at these cases. I
Get a
don't believe they're
special
going to change my
appearance.
previous
It's Rory.
ruling
Hello, Rory.
that the issues
Say hi
that
to
you
the
have
camera.
raised are without merit, as previously ruled on. But I'll take a look.
I'm recording.
What kind of things are you
See you in a
responsible
bit.
for as a battalion
Okay.
chief?
As a battalion chief, I manage the day-to-day operations of an entire shift of firefighters, lieutenants, company officers, those kinds of things.
You had upgraded the call to all 5 stations, right?
That's correct.
What happened next?
We began to realize the scope of this was exceeding our response capabilities. And at that time, I upgraded the alarm. This box alarm brought an additional 4 ambulances, an engine, a squad, and 3 chiefs, in addition to all the other resources that were coming.
Everyone in deck.
And is that where the scope of the response stopped?
Absolutely not.
Do you recall what municipalities or other partners that you work with were part of that response?
I believe 23 units in totality.
The Waukesha Christmas Parade, that's an annual event, is that right?
That's correct.
And have you been the shift commander or battalion chief on duty for that event before 2021?
Yes.
Overruled. He may answer. I believe he answered yes. His answer may stand.
Okay. Your department and the partners that responded in response to your box alarm procedure, you didn't transport every single victim or person who was struck in the parade incident, is that right?
Impossible.
Overruled.
That is correct. We did not transport every person. We transported a total of 24 patients.
Do you know how any other people were transported away from the scene?
I believe
Overruled.
Not
He may
hearsay.
answer.
there were approximately 49 additional patients transported.
Good afternoon, Chief.
Here we go.
Did you ever receive any additional information about the man with a knife in Frame Park?
What relevance does that have?
Other than the radio report or the traffic on the radio?
Yeah, other than that.
I did not.
Do you recall making a report with Officer Wagner?
I do not.
I could be looking at being prepared by my. Do you recall
He's not prepared
any
at
law
all.
enforcement attempting to clear the transportation routes?
At one point, I spoke with Sergeant Tokarski and asked him if he could assist me in opening up a route to get to the casualty collection point that we established.
Do you recall any loss of power in the downtown area?
Oh my God.
Yes.
What's the relevance?
I
of this?
believe 1740, so 5:40 p.m., sometime around then. All the lights went out downtown. The downtown area lost power.
Do you recall receiving any information about what may have been the problem with the power?
It was determined that a power line had gone down due to the high winds that evening.
So to the best of your knowledge, it wasn't due to the incident that you were responding to?
That is correct. I do not believe it was related.
Did you receive any information about why you needed to respond so quickly to the scene?
I'm going to have to ask you to clarify that. We were dispatched by our dispatcher to respond to an incident, and in my line of work, that usually means you respond very quickly.
Yeah. What kind of question is that?
So it's really just get the call and go.
Yes.
That is correct.
That's how it works.
So
You monster.
to your knowledge, you didn't yet have information about why you needed to respond, but you know it was something that needed to be responded to quickly.
That is correct. We were initially dispatched to an unknown incident, and then it was clarified en route, as I mentioned, when the alarm was upgraded, that it was a motor vehicle versus pedestrian incident.
Motor vehicle versus pedestrian incident. Have you ever responded to any calls like that before?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It happens. It's an accident sometimes. Not
Outside of the
Like you.
parade incident, to your knowledge, was there any more needed responses to any other incidents that may have been in the area?
While we were on scene at the parade, I believe that we received 2 other calls for service in the city.
To your knowledge, do you recall if they were directly related?
I do not.
What is the relevance of those calls?
No further questions.
Thank you.
On cross-examination, there was reference made to a casualty collection point. Can you describe what that is?
So a casualty collection point is something that's established when there's a mass casualty incident or a large number of casualties or people injured. The goal of it is to get people to a centralized point where they can receive treatment and triage, or determining the severity of their injuries, so that they can be transported directly from that area.
That's not something that you would set up in a routine pedestrian versus motor vehicle incident. Is that correct?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled, he may answer.
That is not something that we would normally set up in a pedestrian versus motor vehicle accident.
Can we put Exhibit 1 back up on the screen, please? Could you circle for us on the screen in front of you where the casualty collection point was set up here?
Objection, relevant.
It's relevant.
Overruled,
He
he
did
may
it.
answer.
And aside from ambulances involved with your department and the other responding agencies, do you know how else victims were transported from the scene?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled, he
Just
may
if
answer.
he knows.
Not hearsay.
Numerous patients were transported up by law enforcement, bystanders in the parade, and family members.
Everyone helping.
On cross-examination, in reference to this being a motor vehicle versus pedestrian incident, you were asked whether you'd ever responded to a call like that before, and you said, yes, sir. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
So I'd ask a clarifying question. Have you ever been involved in or directed a response to a motor vehicle versus pedestrian incident of this magnitude before in your career?
Objection. Hearsay.
What?
Overruled.
I have not.
Do you recognize that video clip?
I've never seen this before, no.
Does that show, though, however, the van that was in front of you that you were marching with on the parade on November 21st of last year?
Yes.
I
Does
think
this
she's a victim.
accurately reflect what you recall of this section of the parade, which it looks like it's at the beginning of the parade in terms of who you were with and what the float looked like?
Yes.
Okay. I'd ask that the court admit this into evidence and display it, publish it to the jury.
Objection. Witness just stated she doesn't recall the clip.
But she recalls the situation.
The witness has answered questions that establish the foundation for this.
Can you pause it for a moment? Do you see yourself in this this section that's been paused?
Yes.
So what do you remember about at some point were you struck?
I just remember being struck by the vehicle from behind, like on my like
He
my
really
back.
doesn't want to be there.
And then
I can tell.
I fell to my knees and kind of like rolled under the vehicle.
Did you see any brake lights on the vehicle?
Not that I can recall.
It's not here safe.
The objection is noted, it's overruled.
And when it went past you, was it at a slow speed, a medium speed? How would you describe it for the jury?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. Go ahead and answer.
I mean, I would guess probably maybe 20 miles an hour.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 20. And I'm going to ask you, it'll just be in front of you initially. I'm going to show you a couple seconds of that. Can you describe to the jury what you just saw?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
I'm not even gonna say anything when he says that. I'm over it.
It's not hearsay.
It was a video of the events that took place that day where I was struck by the vehicle.
It'd be Exhibit 20.
Mr. Brooks, anything?
Objection.
Who?
The objection is noted, it's overruled.
And I'll take a
Grounds?
look at the video. Thank you.
Objection, we just looked at the video.
Overruled.
And did that accurately depict the car hitting you from behind and then rolling over your legs?
Yes.
You stated that when you were struck from behind, you didn't hear or see the vehicle approach. Is that correct?
That's correct.
He was
Did
from
you
behind.
estimate the speed, or do you recall how fast the vehicle may have been
He
going?
already answered that.
When it hit me, no, I was not able to see that.
When it passed you?
They had asked me when it passed me afterwards what I would estimate it to have been. And I said, if I had to guess, it was probably around 20 miles an hour afterwards.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say from the videos that we just saw that the vehicle wasn't traveling fast?
Your Honor, I'm just going to, for the record,
Grounds.
just clarify that the video is showing at 50% speed.
Rounds. Wow.
I didn't know that initially, I guess.
Nobody knew that.
Can you play it at full speed then, please? And then he can ask the question.
Oh, then suddenly it's not going so slow. They got him. They didn't mean to, but they got him.
And you said that you would estimate the vehicle was going around 20 miles per hour?
She already answered that. 3
And how
times.
would you come to that estimation?
It's a guess. She said that
Based
it
on
was a guess.
previous experience with vehicles, traffic.
So would it be fair to say you don't know for sure how fast the vehicle was traveling?
Yes.
There's no way for me to say for sure how fast the vehicle was going. I was not driving it.
There you go.
You stated that you fell to the ground. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Did you at any point get a description of the driver of the vehicle?
No.
Were you able to make out if anyone was in the vehicle besides the driver?
No.
Oh, you hit her. She was on the ground, I think.
Did you get a license plate number?
No.
Did you file a claim in this matter?
How dare you?
There was a police report filed, yes.
Do you recall the date that you were interviewed or that you made the report?
November 21st.
Can you see this paper that I'm holding?
I can see the paper, but I don't.
Yeah.
How can you know what it says?
Is that your handwriting?
If you can't see it that close, just say you can't.
I can't read it from here.
Yeah.
With a document camera we can put up.
Yeah, just to verify this will just be previewed for the witness. It doesn't have personal identifying information on it.
You can see all those notes. He didn't make that
Your
notes.
Honor, this is a public trial. We have to remember that.
Those were all made from other people. He never
Your objections noted.
made that. His former attorney.
Is that your handwriting on this document?
Yes,
And you stated that you gave a report to the FBI on November the 21st. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Is it correct that this date here says 12/29 of 21?
That's not what this form is.
Not the report.
What would this form be?
That was a form that was filled out as a follow-up based on my experience at the parade. I spoke with someone in person on the 21st.
There you go.
Would it be fair to say that reading from the report that you gave on November the 21st, that it says that you saw a red SUV go to the left of the float and then to the right in front?
I don't have the report, so
Would you like to see it? I have it right here.
Is that a question?
Mr. Brooks, do you want to
She's so
show her the
confused.
report? Then you need to put it on the document camera.
Your Honor, that is not the report. I believe that may have been notes
Oh
that
God.
were with the report that went to Mr. Brooks. That is not the report.
He has no idea. Dude.
Looks to be a summary of what she may have provided to another officer, FBI agent, but not the report itself. So in light of that, she's not going to be questioned on that unless that helps refresh her recollection.
I have the actual report too.
Is it
That
actually
may
the
help.
report? This is the third time that you say that. Are you sure?
Would it be fair to say that you testified that you don't recall hearing anything or seeing anything before you were struck, correct?
correct.
When this is all it's explaining like in the third person, I'm assuming. It says White. As she lay on the ground, White stated she observed the red SUV go to the left of the float and then to the right in front of the float.
I observed the van go towards the left, the vehicle go towards the left of the van, at which point there was no indication that it was stopping or anything, and that it continued from there. I could not see what happened beyond it going to the left of the van because the van was in front of me blocking my view.
It also says White stated the vehicle appeared to be traveling extremely fast and it did not slow down or even brake. But you just said that you couldn't see the vehicle once it veered around the van. Is that fair to say?
As it veered to the left of the van, it did appear to be moving fast, yes.
Would it be fair to say that the video footage doesn't show that?
Objection, that mischaracterizes the video footage, as
Grounds.
the video was cut off shortly after striking Miss White.
Yeah.
You're making an argument, which is something you can do later, so I'll sustain the objection as to the form of the question.
It goes on to say
He thinks he's so bad.
White did not observe the driver of the SUV and could only describe the SUV as red, and it appeared to be a lower rise, in quotation marks, SUV and maybe a Traverse. Do you recall saying that?
I said it was of similar size to a Traverse.
What is a Traverse?
A car.
Objections are relevant.
Well,
Grounds.
it's overruled. She may answer and explain why she said what she did.
Because in my opinion, it's a lower sitting SUV or vehicle versus like some of the higher, some of them sit up higher and are bigger in size. There's more of a mid-size, lower to the ground SUV, in my opinion. Similar to a Traverse.
Yeah.
Do you recall saying that, and I'm reading from the report again, White
Are you
stated that
sure?
she was treated and released at Waukesha Memorial Hospital and sustained bruising, scars, and road rash on her body and a knee injury to her right leg. White stated that she did not have a broken leg, but may have a torn MCL. Do you recall reporting that?
Yes.
So would it be fair to say, and I'm asking this because you said may have a torn MCL, would it be fair to say that at that time you were not sure of the full extent of your injury?
Yes.
Are you done?
And did you file a claim in this matter?
Here we go.
Any type of claim?
Yes.
What was that claim?
There were claims that were filed with the state of Wisconsin that were to cover like the cost of the medical treatment that was received.
So the state of Wisconsin offered to pay your medical expenses.
It was through the Victim Witness Protection Program.
So would you consider yourself a party to this
Yes.
matter then?
Objection.
Oh my God.
Grounds.
Sustained, not relevant. Excuse me.
You hit her.
In the claim that you filed, did you file a claim under an injured party?
Yes.
Objection. I guess I'm not
Grounds.
understanding the question. It's vague.
Stop
Grounds.
it. Someone stop
She
it.
indicated she filed a claim because she was injured.
So
Mr. Brooks, I'm sustaining the objection as to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
do you consider yourself an injured party?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you a plaintiff in this matter? Grounds.
Oh, she's a witness. Sustained.
There
Have
you
you
go.
read or seen a complaint in this matter at any time?
Objection as to relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled. She may answer.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Make him
Have
stop.
you seen or read the
Please.
complaint?
No, I don't know what complaint is being referred to. No.
And were you aware that you may be called to testify in this matter?
Yes.
And who were you informed by?
The Victim Witness Program and the prosecutors.
So are you saying the state of Wisconsin?
No, she didn't say that.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Mr. Brooks, under 90611, please move on to another
Yeah.
line of questioning.
Just stop it. Make him stop asking questions. He doesn't have any more questions.
And you stated that you didn't see any brake lights.
Correct.
You were able to see that from the ground position.
My God.
Correct.
No self-awareness.
From your opinion, did it appear to you that the vehicle was attempting to strike anyone?
Objection calls for speculation.
Grounds.
Mm-hmm.
The way he asked it, did it appear? If you know, you may answer.
It appeared it was traveling in the direction where it could have struck other people, yes.
Ma'am, after receiving medical attention
Thank
at Waukesha Memorial Hospital, did you receive any other medical attention following November 21st, 2021?
Objection
Yes.
irrelevant.
Overruled. She may answer.
And directing your attention back to the video, it was Exhibit 20, the one that was the overhead video. Do you recall seeing that video today?
Objection. She never answered the first question.
She said yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't hear it.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
All right. That was the second. I think we're in the third part. All right. That was the video for today. Thank you for watching. Today we finally know what name this guy wants to be called from. So, do you expected that? Do you know about that? So, tell me in the comments what you think about his name. And we should call him like that now? I don't know. All right. Give it a like if you make it this far. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.